Hey girls and gals, it's that magical time of the year, the 1st of October, or Inktober, depending on how you look at it. I suppose it's both, either way. I will be following the official Inktober prompt list as well. So the tools I'll be using are including the black inks, so microns, just liquid black ink. I'll also be using the highlighters like a Uniposca or a Jelly Roll. I've also decided that I'm going to throw in deep red ink and possibly gold or silver depending on the illustration. I will be using a 5x7 sheet of bristle vellum paper. Vellum is a bit more textured and I thought it might work well, but if it doesn't, I will be switching over to a watercolor paper. I also forgot to mention that I'm going to try to post videos every day or every other day. For example, today is October 1st, so I'll be posting this video October 2nd, and hopefully posting the October 2nd video October 3rd, but I may be posting a 2-in-1 video every once in a while, so stay tuned. Okay, so I thought it would be kind of cool to show the quick Procreate time-lapse. For most of these prompts, I planned them out ahead of time, just so I'd have time with school and everything. So that's kind of the idea I came up with for Poisonous, and I was going to add like an eyeball in there too, but I kind of liked the simplicity of it. So here I am sketching the skull, and I actually sketched it quite a few times because one time it was just looking not big enough, and then the other time it wasn't centered enough, so I think I redrew it about 3 times or so until I got it the way I wanted it. And it wasn't exactly like the Procreate sketch because it still probably wasn't big enough in comparison to the bottle, but because I was working on a 5x7 sheet, the bottle was a bit more wider and not so tall as I had originally planned it, but that's okay. I'm just using a 4B pencil to sketch in, and as I've mentioned before, I absolutely love those pencil extenders. They're amazing, and if you don't have one, you need to get one. I was using my mechanical erasers. One of them is a Mono Zero, and it's a Tombow, sorry. And then the other one's a Papermate, and I can hardly read it, but I think it says Tough Stuff. And the Papermate one is a little bit larger, and then the Mono Zero Tombow one is a bit smaller, so I like using both of them in conjunction. Here I am just using a micron. I think it was an 05, and I was just kind of laying out the skull because at this point I had so many different pencil marks that I just... Okay, well, what I was trying to say is that I had so many pencil marks that I just thought it'd be easier to map it out so I didn't get lost. And here I'm kind of taking like a watercolor approach to shading the bottle. I used a bit of a mix of very graphic lines with some realistic shading, and part of me thinks it worked together nicely, and the other part of me wish I would have stayed with somewhat of the same style. But this Inktober is going to be interesting because, as I've talked about before, I don't really have a defined style. I mean, I do like those surrealistic acrylic paintings, and I guess some people would say that's my style, but I like doing everything, like literally everything. So this isn't my first rodeo with ink, but it has been a little while, and I didn't quite know what kind of style I was going for with this ink, so like I said, I'm kind of just going to be playing around this Inktober. But yeah, here I'm using the Pentel Pocket Brush pen to do some more thicker, dramatic lines, and then I'm using my aqua brush to, you know, kind of smooth it out and make it look more watercolor-esque. So yeah, I'm just doing some shading, and I quickly found out that this paper didn't handle as much water as I would have liked it to. At this stage, you can kind of see on the left the shadow of the bottle is somewhat streaky, and that's just ink's nature because it dries so much quicker, and it doesn't really, you can't like really bring it back to life like you can with watercolor. And some people like ink for that reason, some people don't, so it really is just your preference. I like it. I don't know if I'd say I like doing it for like washes and stuff. I mean, I somewhat ended up with a smooth result, but the paper was not helping. But yeah, I kind of skip around a lot as I do with most of my art. I was just, you know, adding some detail here, and then going back and adding detail there. And then here's where I tried to add the darker wash so that you could really distinguish the liquid that was in the bottle from the top. And you can see the paper is just rolling up. That's not the right word, but it's, you know, it's just getting very beaten. So I just decided to ink all of it black. It's definitely a more stylized look, and I don't mind it. It wasn't like exactly what I was thinking it was going to be, but hey, it worked out, I'd say. It was okay. And it was a much nicer texture overall. Like I kind of saved it in that aspect. But yeah, I thought this drawing was pretty neat. I think a lot of people did skulls, which is cool. I mean, skulls, when you think of poison, you think of skulls. So yeah, this definitely looks like a poisonous concoction. Yeah, I also use my Uniposca for the highlights, but lately they've been kind of like watery. I don't know if it's a new formula or maybe I just didn't shake it well enough. But yeah, there's my first day of Inktober. Hope you guys enjoyed. Okay, so here is my poisonous drawing. Overall, I think it looks decent. It's not at all really what I had in mind. I didn't really initially plan to color this black, but it happened. Let me know what you guys think. Make sure to like, subscribe, comment, all of that good stuff. And I will see you tomorrow, hopefully. Bye.